One of the things that's neat about Hex here is you see each of our champions have a portrait here. These are not just cosmetic, they kind of determine how our deck plays out here. So my opponent's champion starts with 21 life and mine starts with 22. Oh, these first couple of hands are real bad though. I'll keep this one. I'm done playing Magic for the afternoon. We spent $24 playing 8 matches of Magic on Magic Online, so we're gonna take a break rather than spewing playing while tilted. Hex, I can relax. I'm never gonna die on turn 3 to an infinite combo in their standard format, you know. Peace. If you're new to Hex and you wanna, where's my command? That kind of explains the resource system is similar to Magic. You have different colors and you play your resources out, but instead of tapping lands for specific resources, you just have a total resource pool down here at the bottom. So now that I've played 1 red and 1 blue resource, I can play this Blamsmith out that costs me 2 and has a 1 ruby threshold requirement. My champion power here, every time I play a resource, I also gain a point towards using my champion power. And for 3 charges, this summons a Bumblebot, which is a 1/1 troop with flight and speed. So my opponent's card here has flipped over 3 cards from their deck. And if they would have hit any resources with that, they would have drawn those resources. Steel's a good pickup. Another 2-drop. So my Blamsmith here created a Valor, which is an action that gives one of my troops +1/+1 permanently. We're going to power this guy up to a 3/3. And then we'll use my champion power here to make a Flying Dork. And we'll attack for 4. This card, Lasgar's Vengeance, here in my hand. It lit up when I attacked there, and you saw the number on it went down. This card costs 8 initially, but every time one of our troops attacks, it gets -1 cost permanently in our hand. And this says it deals 4 damage to each opposing champion, every one of their troops. So it's kind of like a one-sided wrath. Opponent plays Voracious Zombie here, which triggers some synergy. They had Relentless Zombie in their discard pile that the Cottontail Explorer flipped over. And this card says whenever you play a Relentless or Voracious Zombie, this comes back from your discard pile of play. The game's definitely a lot closer to Magic than Hearthstone in terms of resources and gameplay. It's similar, the only way I would say it's similar to Hearthstone in that it leverages the digital design space in a way that Magic can't. They do not have a mobile client for Hex currently, but that does run natively on OS X, and it runs on Linux via Wine. I'm actually playing natively on Linux via Wine right now. My Windows VM is just for Magic Online. Alright, block. And this lets them sacrifice a creature to make all of their guys bigger, so they're going to sacrifice this. Yeah, that's fine, that can resolve. So, I could just let these trade. Yeah, that's probably fine. I'm just going to let that trade happen. My 3/3 trades to 4/2, they take some damage. I'll pass the turn here. My Buzztech Innovator has a mechanic called Scrounge 2, which means I can void some troops from my crypt in order to give it a bonus. So it'll give all of my robots +2 attack while it's in play if I scrounge it, and it makes some more robots. So a couple of my guys dying wouldn't be the worst thing. I'm going to go ahead and play this out, and then we're going to play our Lasgar's Vengeance here. I think clear away both my opponent's 4/3s that they have here. These cards also both say whenever I play an action, they gain a power until end of turn, so we'll do that. And then we'll go ahead and attack in for 5 here. My opponent's down to 9 now. So, it depends on what you're looking to... You can play the game completely for free. Basically, every modern digital card game has a free-to-play option, Hex included. Hex has a fully fleshed out single player game mode where you can grind in-game currency just by playing, and you can play. You get free cards when you sign up, so you can just play on that game mode with the free currency if that's what you want. But they also, one of the things Hex does that's different from a lot of the other card games that exist right now is Hex has a full buy, sell, trade secondary market. So similar to how Magic Online works is you can just go to a store and hit checkout. In fact, this advertisement above my head here for hexprimal.com, they're a website that buys and sells Hex TCG cards. So you could go to that website and just fill a shopping cart and hit checkout. And then if you decide you don't want to play anymore or you want to change decks, you can just trade your deck or sell into a different deck. They played another Relentless Zombie. I think there's 2 Relentless Zombies in their bin now, right? Yeah, so they're going to get 3 guys back now. But our opponent is just going to be dead here because they traded with my Warp Steel Shard Sword last turn. My Buzztech Innovator is going to get to scrounge now. Yeah, it's very reasonable to do comp draft to build a collection. In fact, one of the best ways to turn free-to-play into regular is if you're a good player, is whenever you play a match in Hex, you gain account experience, and then your account gains levels. And then at certain levels, you get free entry into their limited tournaments like Draft and Evo Sealed and stuff like that. So my Buzztech's gonna make 2 dorks and give them all 2 power, so I'm gonna attack for 9 in the air there and kill my opponent. Not 100% sure what they're doing. There's some kind of like value mid-range deck. These Pyre Strikes are probably valuable because when they don't, instead of killing the troop, they void it so the zombies wouldn't come back. Cremate probably isn't particularly good because it only does 2 damage against what they have going on. Probably don't mind to Consult the Talons. This is another card that lets us draw 3 cards so we can generate a bunch of card advantage, try and grind through their zombies that keep coming back. I don't really want to board in my 4th Heart of Embers because my opponent likely plays the card Hero Fall, which takes all copies of a creature out of my deck. And you can see here, my account level is 81, and I get some things here at the next level as I earn experience for playing. Usually the average competitive standard deck in Hex costs probably somewhere between $70 and $100 this season and previous seasons. There's some ebb and flow to that, and it depends on what you mean by competitive. When I say $70 to $100, I mean the Tier 1 decks cost between $70 and $100. There's reasonable budget decks that are like Tier 2, Tier 2.5 that you can buy into for like as little as like $20 and ladder all the way up the free-to-play ladder and earn the rewards on there just by playing the decks that are Tier 2. I keep an article here, Budget Hex, that talks about the first deck there. I keep this article up to date. So Hex is going to have a new set release probably sometime this month. They just started spoiler season for their 7th set release. So when that happens, I'll update this with new decks as they come along. Rotation's not happening with this set though, so the decks that are listed there will probably still be reasonable. It's pretty good. I've got an Arcane Focus and a Thunderfield Seer. The Thunderfield Seer is a great example of subtle use of the digital design space for something that's kind of interesting but not overpowered. This is a 1/1. It's a 1/1 for 1 that when it comes into play, it uses the Prophecy mechanic. It adds a line of text to the next action in my deck that when I play this, draw a card. So this is basically a 1/1 for 1 that cantrips, but it's kind of a delayed cantrip. We'll cantrip later when we find the action that it prophesizes onto. And do that. I'll play my Thunderfield Seer out here. Lanupot Sight is another Prophecy card. This is a really powerful draw card in this game. It's a 3-cost basic action, so it means I can only play it on my turn. And it says the next action, resource, and troop in my deck all gain the line of text when you play this draw card. So this is like a 3-cost draw 3, but it's a delayed draw 3. My opponent again missed on their Cottontail Explorer. That's pretty rough. No, I mean free to play, you can play the cheap decks on the regular ladder. Because, like, you know, again, unlike Magic Online, like, you don't have to risk anything to play. So, like, even if you're unsure if your deck is competitive enough to play the ladder, just try it. The ladder doesn't cost you anything. Need another Ruby Threshold here. And then this Arcane Focus drew me an extra card because it was prophesized by my Thunderfield Seer. Do you need more snack? Opponent trades 1/1s there. Yeah, and one of the things I really love about Hex is that, like, Hearthstone uses their digital design space to add a lot of variance to their game, it feels like. And the Hex developers have done a really great job of, like, using the digital design space to lower variance as opposed to increase it. One of the really sweet things that Hex does that makes the game feel a little bit better than Magic, because everyone mulligans less, is it uses a hyper-geometric distribution to remove the 10% most resource light hands and 5% most resource dense hands from the opening hands that people are drawing. So basically everyone in Hex mulligans 50 or 15% less than you do in games of Magic, just because your opening hands are more consistent. Which is sweet. As someone that's like, I'm probably an above average TCG player, so like things that allow me to reduce variance and to play more actual games instead of just like mulliganing into Oblivion more often, it's fantastic, really. Like, my opponent's mulligan less, I mulligan less, so we have more games where, like, we just both have cards and get to do what our deck wants to do. This Thunderfield Seer is great. This was prophesized by the Landopod site, so this guy draws a card when we play him out. So let's do that. And then the Shard draws a card. I'm going to play this Ruby resource out rather than the one that draws a card here, though, because I want to play this Blamsmith, and I hadn't played a Ruby resource yet. So now I have a decision to make here. I could play this Valor now and make one of these guys bigger, but this Heart of Embers says whenever we play a Valor, we get to deal 3 damage to something. So I'm going to hold this Valor for a turn, so that way I can use it to deal 3 damage to something. Yeah, I hadn't realized until I started playing a lot of Magic Online again, because, like, in paper and even at tournaments, you're, like, not playing a really high-volume games of Magic. Like, you can play a ton of TCG games when you're playing on a digital client. And, like, I hadn't realized how much less I mulliganed in Hex compared to Magic just because of that rule. Like, when you're playing so many games, you see that difference happen a lot. My opponent played a card that voided my Dorko here, which is kind of sad, but it is what it is. Down to 14 here, not too bad. My opponent's deck generally doesn't have any traditional forms of reach in it, so I can use my life total pretty aggressively as a resource. Again here, I'm not going to play out this Sapphire Shard that draws a card just yet, because my Heart of Embers requires 2 Ruby thresholds to play, so I'm going to go ahead and play the Ruby, so I can play my Heart of Embers. Can play this Valor, which will let me shoot something here. I'm Valoring the Heart of Embers rather than the Thunderfield Seer, because my opponent's deck often plays Strangle, and if they don't have... They had the Strangle right off the bat, so they get to kill it in response here. So if they didn't have the Strangle right away, that would have bought me ways to get past the Strangle. And now since I played an action, I can activate my Bombus and get a Bumblebot. And this has speed, so it can attack right away, so we'll go ahead and attack for 2 here. And then next turn, this Transmogrifade draws a card, and this Sapphire Shard draws a card, so it's draw some extra cards probably. That's really good. So this is a 5/6 for 5. When it comes into play, it battles 2 opposing troops. So this is going to get to eat both of my Dorkos here. And then hang out. My opponent's really coming back from this Mulda 5. Now we're in a little bit of trouble. Play this, draw a card, see what we get. Limestone. Okay, I'm going to cycle this resource, which gives us a charge and lets us draw a card. Do you need some cereal? So we know my opponent has a Rotpaw Gang in their hand from their champion activation earlier, so I really don't want to burn this Transmog on the Croc, so I think I'm just going to pass here. I would snap the Transmog on this if I didn't know they had the other guy in their hand. So I think I'm just taking a hit for 5 here. There's the Rotpaw Gang. This is a 6/6 for 6 that they can return to play by sacrificing a troop, and they can sacrifice a troop to you at life drain or flight. I'm going to wait till we come back to my turn to Transmog, because I would like to be able to activate my champion power. That's really bad for us. Oh, wait, that had 2 card draws on it. Okay. All right, let's do this. And then let's go ahead and consult here and draw 3 cards. Hopefully we draw a dwarf so we can do this. All right, well, we found a Thunderfield Seer that can block. We're dead to a removal spell here, unfortunately. If they don't have a removal spell, we're in an okay spot. But the chances are their deck has a removal spell here. Yep, and that's going to let them fight one of my Dorkos, and then they're going to attack us for 9, so we die. I did! The keywords look sweet. Illuminate sounds really awesome. Like, need dudes, get dudes, don't need dudes. We haven't seen any hero falls out of them yet. I think I'm just going to click submit here. Yeah, I'm just going to click submit and run it back. I think we just flooded out a little bit there. Hopefully we can hit a few less resources this game and be good. Alright, so we have 2 resources here, but these only give us a threshold if we already have a threshold, so this hand can't actually make any color thresholds for us, so we have to mulligan, unfortunately, which is sad because that hand was really good. This hand's also very good. We've got Blamsmith and Elasgar's Vengeance here. That's tough. They've got a lot of sweet ones. Fate Weave is such a good use of the digital design space, like reduced variance. So that seems awesome, especially the counter that Fate Weaves. Like that's everything a control deck wants, right? Like I'm gonna that sucks. Well, I get to take my Lasgar's Vengeance out of my hand. Womp womp. Well, there goes the one payoff this hand had in it. Hopefully we draw a Lanupaw's Sight or the Consult the Talons so we can generate some card advantage back here. Did they spoil some of the Escalate cards? I'm gonna go ahead and Valor this dork so I can make a Bumblebot here. I'm Valoring this one so I can spread my power out a little bit. That's a beating. I mean, I guess that was technically better than Blamsmith. They had to want to avoid my socketed guy again. This is speed. That's really good. That's a giant brick wall. So they get to sacrifice a troop when this comes into play, and then it's a 5/5. So can we draw Consult into Transmog, please? Focus could be anything, even a Consult or a Sight. Alright, there's a Transmog. How about that guy? Can I eat that one? Turn this. So Transmog turns their troop into a random troop that costs 1 less. The Dreadling activation here is actually decent for us because it means that we're going to have scrounge fodder for this Buzztech Innovator. Unfortunately, Vampire Prince is pretty good, so I'm going to leave my Bumblebot back on defense here so this can't attack in without them having a piece of removal. they just got a Croc back to their hand. Unfortunately for us, they don't have triple wild yet, but they could have another wild resource, so we'll see. See where this goes. 10 out of 10 blocking here. Every time this hits us, they get to flip the top card of our deck into our crypt. If they hit a resource that way, they get to draw that resource. Okay, please don't croc me. We're about to get crocked, aren't we? They have a wild shard or a dual shard, we're gonna get crocked. Yep, that's unfortunate. That's probably the game. I guess we could run off a couple of resources and this Buzztech Innovator could steal it, but we're pretty far behind here. The fact that we never found one of our draw threes to make up for the discard spell and the mulligan into the discard spell, pretty sucks. We could have eaten that one, but sure. No blocks. Okay, there's a line of plus sight. If we can snowball here a little bit, we do still have an okay amount of health. I'm gonna go ahead and Valor this so I can block their 2-2. Hopefully block their 2-2. The second blood, so now they can play things like Strangle here. This is a pretty free block. You probably just have another one to play out, so it's coming back anyways. That guy's kind of sweet. Has a lot of good synergy in it. Yep, just another Relentless Zombie. Okay, got like Thunderfield Seer. Warp Steel, that's great. Gives us a bunch of blockers and draws us another card. And then, yep, well that was about as good as we could have asked for, probably. We found another, okay, little touch flooded, but we are kind of back in the game. We got some blockers here. This holds this back. This Buzztech Innovator is going to get to scrounge and make 6 power worth of flying Dorkos. If they don't have a removal spell for this, we're going to be in a great spot. If they do, we're going to be kind of medium minus. It's amazing what drawing 3 cards can do to put you back into a game. Probably an attack with everything here. Yep. I'm gonna go chump block the 5/6, eat a 2/2, take 2. Hero Fall on my Blam Sack. That's really aggressive. That probably means they have a second one with that aggressive use of Hero Fall, which is bad for us, because then this Buzztech Innovator is not going to get to do anything. And then eat my last one. This fights something, and it gains them 2 life. It's pretty good. Alright, Buzztech, you're my savior. Get on in there. We're not dead on board, so I'm just going to attack for 6 in this guy here. If this doesn't die, I can pay 2 to make 2 Dreadlings with this as a one-shot. So we can attack for like 12 next turn. Maybe hit some good actions and make another Bumblebot off of our hero power. If they make a bad attack, we could kill them. Okay. Got a resource. Man, do they not have it? That would be so good for us if they don't have a removal here. It'd be so good. They don't have removal, and we hit an action. We're actually going to be in a pretty good spot. Bringing back a Voracious Zombie. That's not good for us. So they destroyed one of my guys and brought back this. Oh, God, we're like just dead, right? So this. Yeah, I have to chump block. Yep, so this can sacrifice a creature to make all of their Relentless and Voracious Zombies get bigger permanently, which means I have to trade here, because otherwise I'm taking 8/13 exactly. Bonus deck's really sweet. If we draw Lasgar's Vengeance, we could still be in this game, because we can attack, make it cost 7, clear their board, and then make a Bumblebot to chump block. Alright, a little bit flooded there again at the end. The beat sometimes. So, I mentioned Hex uses a hypergeometric distribution to adjust the opening hand algorithms, the starting hand. It does not adjust the distribution of resources that are left in your deck afterwards. So, Flood and Screw does still happen in Hex, just like in Magic. Gotta maximize your decks, build your decks to try and play through it the best you can with things like cycling resources. You come in here and sit with Dad? Yes, very, very good. Fate Weave and then draw a card. Just like, all right, what do I need? All right, I'll take one of those. Fate Weaving. So Fate Weave is a mechanic that says you choose either a resource or a non-resource, and then it puts one of those types of cards at random on top of your deck. Yes, it only cheats at the very beginning. It cheats for everyone equally, right? Seems very reasonable. Opponent's playing Diamond, and their champion's Benvolio for 4 charges. They draw a card. At the end of turn, they have to discard that card if it's still in their hand and not a resource. That card's annoying. It says whenever we play a non-resource card, all the other non-resource cards in our hand get +2 costs. So all of these get +2 costs until our next turn. I'm just going to play this other Ayotachi coins out since it's a slow resource. Hero of Legend. Ooh, it's the animated art Hero of Legend. Whenever an Ardent troop they control deals combat damage, they get to create a Valor. So now the question is, do I want to transmog this, or do I want to just play Lanopost? I think I want to be resource efficient and play Lanopost and kind of start snowballing some card advantage. Because I played Lanopost, I can generate this Bumblebot. I'm just going to use my Bumblebot to chump block their 3/4 next turn. Fate Weaving every turn, I would argue, is more powerful than looking at your top 2 and taking one. So, oh, it looks like they're just playing the Diamond Ruby Ardent deck with Benvolio as the champion, which is interesting. Yeah, I'm gonna play the Arcane Focus out here, see what we get. Warp Steel. Ooh, yep, 10 out of 10 want a Heart of Embers. Play this out. I think I'm just going to make a Sapphire here, and then probably transmog this dork when it goes to attack after it attacks us. Decree of Banishing. Oh, that's an AA too. They're going to avoid my Blam Smith. Yeah, that's fine. It means they're not going to avoid my Heart of Embers next turn, which feels good. Transmog this before it attacks now, since I don't have a blocker for it anymore. Just turn their 3/4 into a 2/2, so we're going to take 6 here. which isn't too bad for us. Next turn, we get to go ahead and play out this resource to... This is a utility shard, so if we don't need any more threshold, we can go ahead and make a 1/1 worker bot with this. Then I'm going to play out this Heart of Embers, and Heart of Embers is going to make us a Valor, and then he says when we play a Valor, we get to go ahead and shoot something, so I'm going to shoot this Daughter of the Poet. That's Lasgar's Vengeance. Oh, you know what? I messed up here, right? I could have played around that. I was thinking I wanted my worker bot to be able to block a choo-choo profitably, but I could have made my Heart of Embers have 5 defense. Yeah, I wasn't thinking about Lasgar's, Bob. I was thinking if they killed that with spot removal, I wanted my leftovers to be bigger. Yeah, this actually kind of works out, right? The Blamsmith gets to scrounge now. I'm going to hold these Valor for now. We could draw another Heart, and I want to hold this Transmog up, I think. That's... Yep. So they get to shoot something with their own Heart here. I don't think they have another Valor in their hand, right? The set 7 keywords are awesome. They're really, really well done, as always. Like, the Hex team just, like, knocks it out of the park consistently with just, like, using the digital design space to make variants less instead of more. Huh. I'm gonna go ahead and attack with this because I can use the coins, these coins ready something when I cycle them. Yeah, I'm gonna Valor a couple of these dorks, I think, just to make them slightly larger. Yeah, I'm just gonna make this a 3/3, so that way if they kill this, I can still block their 2-power guys profitably. Ollie's never played the Sapphire Control decks. He likes to play the blood cards more often. Yeah, Righteous Outlaw's fine. Doesn't really do much right now. We have a bunch of X1s. Love to draw Lasgar's of our own. Heart of Embers. Immediately punished for having spent 2 Valors last turn. You know, them's the beats sometimes, I guess. We're going to go ahead and shoot this guy down. I'm going to target this with two Heart triggers since I have another Valor in my hand. Heart is such a good card. We're not beating a second Lasgar's Vengeance at this point anyway, so there's no point in playing around it. I'm going to attack with these 3, I think. Thinking about trading 2 for 1 on one of these guys. Yep, we'll take 11 here. Opponent's drawing a card here. Big bucks, no Lasgar's Vengeance, please. Slash and Dash. This gives all of his Ardent troops Swift Strike and Speed. So I guess I'm glad I have this Transmog. So your Ardent troops. I'm going to Transmog this guy here. Do I want to let him attack first, though? Yeah, I'm just going to let them get to combat here. Okay. Attack with these three again. I want to be a little conservative. Jacob, let your brother play with the recorder. So we're going to Transmog Lionel the Slashing, so all their guys lose Swift Strike. Yep, so this trades with both of these, and this trades with all three of these. Sweet. So their entire board is gone, and we have a Blam Sack. Blam Sack says at the end of each of our turns, our opponent takes 3 points of damage. And if we ever take damage, the Blam Sack dies. So we need to dodge Lasgars one more time here. Because they could just hard cast it for 8 and kill our board. Alright, up a game here. Definitely want these Cremates and these Pyre Strikes here. Definitely want our last Heart of Embers. Stifling Thing's a little bit medium. Lanopause Sights. Buzztech Innovator's kind of clunky. We don't have a ton of time to draw all these cards. I want some of them, though, right? I mean, I trim a resource, so I'm cutting my curve down a little bit. That seems fine. Let's do this. Huh. So these need a dwarf in our hand in order to do anything. So I think we actually have to mulligan this. I guess we have our opponent's mulligan to 4. I'm gonna keep this after they mulligan a bunch. We have a focus. It's probably keepable even if they don't mulligan a bunch because of the focus. Just calling it a day. That's tough beats. Like I said, reduces variance, doesn't remove it. Yeah, sorry, Shen. In the words of a wise man, you will never lose because you mulligan to 4 if you always keep 7. Just like something to keep in mind. There is not a cost to play competitive ranked games. You just jump in the queue with a deck that is legal in Hex's standard format and start playing. I need to run and fill Declan's water cup up here really quick. I'll be right back. Thanks for watching, folks. We're going to play X for another couple hours, so don't go anywhere. Yeah, it was tough. We were definitely in a spot at the end of that first game where, like, we were just, like, dead to Lasgar's Vengeance at several points. Yeah, it sounds super reasonable, right? We've got Warp Steel Shards 4 on 2, into Linopois Sight on 3, and possibly Hard on 4. Sign me up. Opponent just mentioned that they subscribed yesterday. I appreciate that, opponent, if you watch this on the replays. Opponent's playing Grandfather Elk and played Century of Milzana, which makes their socketed cards cost 1 less. They're likely playing the Ruby Wild Elk deck that I've worked on a little bit with MC and Rune Ear Hierophant, but it could be some other wild socket configuration as well. Let's go ahead and play this out, and then play Warp Steel Shard Sworn here. Yeah, the Ruby Blood Dreadlings deck is very, very good. Super powerful. It's also really efficient. It can win games quickly, so it's really good for laddering with. So my champion power requires that I've played an action in order to use it, so we're going to play this Linopois Sight pre-combat here, so that way I can activate my champion power to get my speedy Bumblebot, and then attack with my 3 troops here. Yes, it's an aggressive deck. It's kind of, if I had to equate it to a Magic style deck, if you've ever played an Aristocrat styles Magic deck with like sacrificing things, a kind of a Trixie Synergy style aggressive creature deck, that's what it would be. A Riftwarp Badger here. When this comes into play, it generates a random socketed card and puts it into my opponent's hand. This resource is prophesied, so we get to draw a card thanks to that Linopois Sight. Their 3/2 means I'm not attacking with my 1/1s profitably here. That's a Dark Cardinal Zan. So this card says, at the beginning of each player's turn, they sacrifice a non-socketed card they control, and it has Skyguard and Steadfast, so it's going to get to block my Bambly bot here. What am I using to display the deck list on the side like that? There's an open source tool called Stack It that lets you generate Hex and Magic and Pokemon decks and display it on the side. And then Hex has an API built into it, so it can, every time I save a deck list in the game, it auto-exports using the API to display it on the side of my screen like that. Attack with this Heart of Embers. I guess this is a free block for them since they're going to have to sacrifice it next turn anyways. Yeah. Yeah, that was bad. I should have kept this back because now my opponent can attack with this. Although I guess if they have a shard, they could have champ powered and attacked with it anyways. Second Dark Heart. Well, that's really bad for us. Man, we were just getting ranched today. So now we have to sacrifice 2 non-socketed cards. Another resource. I mean, I guess this technically blocks. The Bumblebots it's making can't attack into these 4/4s, though. That's tough. I'm sure I have to sacrifice these next turn. This is socketed at least, so I don't have to sacrifice it to these. Alright, Altar of Null Zans. This is an artifact that says whenever they play a socketed card, they get to draw a card for the first time in a turn. You called the spew at the beginning, right? So they can't really attack here because I'll block here and then double block here. Yeah, so they're just going to pass. I'm going to sacrifice both these Bumblebots. The Buzztech Innovator kind of keeps these Dark Hearts at bay. And then maybe I could draw like a... That's a Lanopoise site that's prophesized. So this draws us a card from one earlier, and then our next ones draw more cards. Is it even worth it to make a Bumblebot? Oh, you know what? I can make a Bumblebot here and attack. And I'm going to attack with my Warpsteel Shardsworn as well because we drew this Cremate that deals 2 damage. So if they block either of these, they're going to lose the Dark Heart they block with. Just kind of waiting on a Lasgar's Vengeance at this point. I would not like to scrounge. I'd just like to kill this. Blitz gives it +4, +2. Yep. That's unfortunate. I guess that's a combat trick that's not going to blow us out later, but it doesn't feel good. Dum 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 dum. What you got? I wouldn't be surprised if they start attacking with these things at this point. Like, they trade one with a Buzztech Innovator, but when these attack, they draw a card that they have to play before the end of the turn, so... Yeah, the Altar was an interesting play. I feel like if I was them, I'd be pushing with these Dark Hearts. Like, one's probably more than enough to keep me locked out of the game. And by that, I mean, there's the Lasgar's Vengeance, our fates foretold of, so... This card costs 8, but it does 4 damage to them and each of their Dorkos. All of these Dorkos. And because they burned the Blitz last turn saving one, they don't have a Blitz to save one of their other guys now, so we get to go ahead and crack for 5 here. Yeah, right, it was a prophesied Lasgar's. Fire Soul is interesting. The coins ready one of our troops, but we also get to draw a card when we play because it's prophesied, so I'm probably just going to play it out here. Unless we draw another Lasgar's Vengeance, in which case, you know, we'll snap that off. That Thunderfield Seer draws a lot of cards. Let's start with that one. Play this out. Oh, yeah, it was made by the Badger. You're right. Good catch. Buzztech Innovator is going to go ahead and make 2 3/1s. I'm going to go ahead and transmog this guy, which lets me activate my champion power in addition to drawing a card. Alright, what does my opponent got going on? I don't actually have any destroy any artifact stuff on my board, which kind of sucks. Heart of Embers and the extra Buzztech Innovator seems great just because it's a socketed card that doesn't die to their Heart of Embers like we, or their Dark Hearts like we had the issue with that game. Stifling Sting doesn't kill a whole lot. The Pyre Strike kills slightly more than the Sting does. I don't know if the Cremate's good enough or not. Double click. If you double click a card that only has one ability, it defaults to activating that ability. I'm going to trim one site here. Ah, site's so good. What am I cutting? Blam Sack seems good too. I'm going to trim a Thunderfield Seer and just kind of muck things up. So, one of my rules for Lasgar's Vengeance decks is that if a hand ever seems close, I'm just going to go ahead and mulligan it if it doesn't have Lasgar's Vengeance in it. And look at that. We've got a hand that's just, like, probably close as well, but it has Lasgar's Vengeance in it. So, sign me up. I'm going to not play the Iotachi Coiner here. So this makes 0-1, which means it doesn't give us a resource the turn we play it. But I think I want to be greedy and try and see, because if we draw like 1 or 2 more regular resources, we're going to want to cycle this down the line. No turn 2 play or turn 1 play is good for us. You're another coin. I'm going to play the Warp Steel out here because it gives us 2 bodies, which can start taking the Lasgar's Vengeance down a little bit more aggressively. No play on 3 either. We're going to start getting a lot of attacks in here. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and play this out for our second Sapphire since I have these to make rubies. And I'm going to play this Blamsmith. I'm going to Valor my Depth Crawler. And the reason why I'm doing this is it allows me to make a Bumblebot with my champion power since I played in action. And then I get to attack with 3 Dorkos this turn, which means this Lasgar's Vengeance will tick down a bit. Get closer to casting. Lasgar's Vengeance is the type of card that really takes over these troop-based matchups a lot of the time. Gonna miss. So this card says, whenever you play a socketed card, your socketed troops in all zones get +1/+1 permanently. Honestly, I might have to Lasgar's Vengeance just this one away. This is such a powerful card. If he plays like if he plays 2 things out next turn, I don't know if I was Lasgarring. I guess I should have played a coin. I'm gonna cycle this and see what we get. Warp Steel, yeah. With that draw, I think we can just Lasgar them and then attack next turn for lethal, even if they play 1 or 2 things here. We also make another Bumblebot next turn, so we'll see. If there plays like Dark Heart here, they should just be dead. Because the Vengeance will still kill this, and then the Dark Heart will have 1 toughness and will attack with a bunch of dorks, and these get bigger when we play an action for the turn. Okay, there's Rune Ear Hierophant. See if they have another play here. Yeah, this Lasgar's. I guess they could have Riposte here, right? Riposte would be really bad for us. This is probably, and I can Lasgar's post-combat here, potentially. So I'm going to Valor this Bumblebot and shoot this. Which makes these bigger. Make a thing. Attack with all my things. Take a block of 2 and take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They go to 1. Yeah, honestly, I'm not going to play this Lasgar's Vengeance out because they're pretty dead on board here, and I don't want them to Riposte, which steals my card off the chain and then lets them play it next turn. So if they If I play this and they riposte, they will kill us on the back crack. No Lasgar. Yeah, 10 out of 10 has a riposte. Opponent had the riposte, which is what we were playing around. It lets them take an action off the chain, and then cast it again. And I was like, I had the Lasgars, but we are not playing it. We're playing around that. You always want to ask yourself, like, I'm really far ahead in this game, and it's like, how do I lose this game? I cast this Lasgars, and my opponent riposted. That's how we lose this game. Right. So, recording the negative cost on Lasgar's Vengeance is relevant because there's other things that increase the cost of stuff. So, if it gets increased in cost... If it increased the cost, then if it's still negative, it could be free still. Ugh, so I find the words to put together what I'm meaning. So we're at 20th on the constructed ladder now. So maybe play one or two more. I probably need to, like, playing a whole bunch of matches probably isn't a bad thing. So the Hex ladder seasons last 2 months. So this season has 3 weeks or so left in it. And ideally, I would like to be nice and safe towards the top 16 or so. So the best way to do that is to play a bunch of matches. I top 8 at their last 5K tournament. I'd like to make a run back at this deck. So especially, it's looking like if they're already starting spoiler season for this current format, we might, for this current set, we might have a new... There's not a way to check the ladder without being in the client. If you post on Discord, Mattman, someone in there will 10 out of 10 tell you where you're at on the ladder. If you're in the top 64. There's usually someone on that's around. So this hand doesn't have a ruby in it, but we get to go 1, 2, 3 without ruby, so I think this hand is keepable. Opponent's playing Kaigalichu, which one of the things I love about Hex is I can kind of tell what my opponent's deck is going to be doing based on their champion. Kaigalichu is generally played in like more grindy mid-range type decks, so that means keeping a hand that has a Lanu Pause sight on turn 3 guaranteed is probably going to be pretty good, because it means that we're going to get to play a draw 3 on turn 3. And then, like the professional that I am, we just go ahead and ripped off the ruby threshold that we didn't have previously. Let's go! Vampire Princess Vomit. So this is a 2/3 with Flight and Life Drain. Then when it deals damage to us, they get to take a look at a random card in their hand. If the card they look at is an action, they get to take it away. Thankfully, we can play our only action here, but our aggressive is completely stunted here because we can't attack into this 2/3 Life Drain. Like, if we attack with everything here, they'll eat one of my guys and, like, take at most 2 because it Life Drains. So, yeah, pass, I guess. They're going to attack us here. I'm not going to block because we don't have any actions in our hand right now. I want to save my Bumblebot to block when I have an action in my hand that's worth protecting. Kind of. It doesn't have Death Touch, and this can actually generate card advantage. So, like, you saw the Blamsmith appear from my hand there. If my opponent had seen an action, they would have taken that action out of my hand. Rotten Rancor with the Bride of the Damned in the Crypt. That's pretty good. Commander Prompt. Yep. So this card gives their exhausted troops +2 attack and their ready troops +2 defense. Let's play Thunderfield Seer out here, see if we draw. Play Ayotachi coins out, see what we draw. Play another Warp Steel. I suppose I can activate this and then crunch with all my idiots on the ground. And that, yeah, actually I really like doing this because what this allows me to do is they're going to block one of these extra 1/1s that I'm attacking with, which will put 3 troops in my crypt, which means I can scrounge this Blamsmith then. Help. You want to come in here and sit with Dad? Hi, buddy. Ow. You want some crackers? You want these? No? No, no, no? Nope, you can have as many things in play as you want. We are not Hearthstone. So when this attacks, my opponent gains a resource. Yep. So again, don't have any actions in my hand, so not going to chump. I'm going to go ahead and chump this rabbit, though, to gain 5 life. Need a World Crusader. Oh, they're playing a Crusader deck. Huh. Well, I think I want to just play my Heart of Embers here and shoot down their Dorko in the sky. So I'm going to play this. I'm going to go ahead and Valor the Heart of Embers. The reason why I'm Valoring the Heart of Embers is because I want to make sure it doesn't die to Strangle. This also lets it block the Underworld Crusader, which is nice. Can't attack with even my flying troop because this has Skyguard, which says it can block troops with flight. We're not in too terrible of a spot here because these Blamsmiths generate Valors, and then if the Heart of Embers lives, we can use those Valors to shoot things down. Also, the first one of these is going to be a 5/5 because of Scrounge. Those of you that are stopping by, if you're one of my regular Hexers, I appreciate you coming back. If you're new to the stream, I appreciate you showing a little support if you're enjoying it by using that follow button on the screen. It doesn't cost you anything. It helps other people find the stuff that I'm doing. This feels like they might have a Strangle. So I'm going to use my life total as a bit of a resource here. I'm going to quad block this Rune Ear Hierophant. They have a Strangle. They're probably killing one of these in response. We'll take 6 here, but then this is going to put 3 more troops in my crypt so I can scrounge both of these Blamsmiths next turn. They've got a Rotten Rancor. That's... Holy crap. Well, they got a Warp Steel Shard Torn out of my hand, which feels bad, but if they don't have another Hero Fall here, this is real good for us. Whoa, do they not? God, that ended up being so great. Don't have another one. Don't have another one. Don't have a... Good gosh. All right, yep. Yep, scrounge this. I love modal cards like Blamsmith with the scrounge effect. Like, it's a card that's reasonable to draw in the early game, but it's also a good card to have in the mid to late game. So, let's do this. What am I killing here? Am I just killing Prompt? I feel like I'm just killing Prompt. Valor these up and make them 6/6s. They have a Rotten Rancor that we know about in their hand. We're in an okay spot here. I'm going to wait a turn on attacks. Next turn we can attack with like all of these, I think. I guess we're at 8. We're a little bit low. Cottontail Explorer. That's really bad for us. They flipped over a Yazucan here, and they have Rotten Rancor in their hand. So they're going to be able to Rotten Rancor, the Yazucan into play, killing the Heart of Embers. So we're going to need to be under the gun to, like, draw a Transmog right away. Don't take my cord, you brat! Yep, so they're going to kill the Heart and bring back Yazucan. And Yazucan brings back a troop from their crypt every single turn, which is obnoxious for us. Not quite toddler obnoxious, but it's pretty obnoxious. We're 17 cards into our deck without a Transmog, so that would be nice. We unblock here. Trade, we get a Blam Sack. They also flipped a Rot Paw Gang into their crypt, though. They're probably just going to grind us out this game. That's a super focus. I forgot we had one of these in the banks. This is triple prophesize. So we're going to draw a card when we play it. Then we're going to look at 2 cards. And then we're going to draw 2 more cards. Well then. Huh. Okay, man, God, I love... This archetype is so sweet. We're just like, kinda behind, kinda behind, kinda behind. Nope, we had a bunch of draws in the bank, let's draw a bunch of cards. And then spin those into cards that draw more cards. And just like, you know, keep it going on. They have another one. Bringing back Commander Prompt. That's really unfortunate for us. I need to change a diaper. Are we dead? God, what a tilt. Just like, yeah, that's frustrating. All right, I need to change a diaper. I'll be right back. Sorry about that. That was, this diaper was bad enough. He needed a new pair of shorts change. We're back here where we were still dead. Because they ripped a fucking Rotten Rancor. Oh, it's unfortunate. What's going on, Dino? Alright, I don't want another heart against the Lasgar's deck. The Pyre Strikes are good. Psychic Ascension's probably good. Cremate's pretty mediocre. I guess he has Vampire Princess, so maybe Crimson Bolt is fine. I don't know, Stifling Sting's probably better. What do I actually want to trim? Thunderfield Seer is not stellar in this type of matchup. Get this going on. Do I want my Consult the Talons? If I'm bringing in Consults, then my Thunderfield Seers are better, though. I'm just going to do this. Might be wrong. Womp womp. First, Sand's very good. It's got a Transmog, a Pyre Strike, and double landing pod sight's fantastic. Again, we just want to bury them in card advantage. Cycle the coin now so you can get your auto pass value. Ooh, AA Acolyte of Shoku. So our turn's just going to be Shard, Sight. Yep. Shard, Sight, Chant Power. Gabroth with the brand new. Oh, sorry, brand new. The 5-month resubscription. I thought that username was familiar. Thank you for the continued support. I do appreciate it. I'm not used to these longer streams. We're gonna be doing longer streams on Mondays from now on. Yep, there's a rabbit and gets to accelerate them a little bit here. The question is, do I want to spend a piece of removal on this rabbit or not? I almost feel like I don't. I'm just gonna play the Blamsmith and then Valor the Blamsmith. Do I want to transmog this? I don't think I do. I'm just going to attack. If they make this big enough to attack through the Blamsmith, then I'm going to transmog it, but otherwise I'm just going to try and block. Bright of the Dam is pretty good. Now if they have a blood threshold, that also, whatever they do here, blood lets them make this small both long enough to attack into. So I'm going to go ahead and transmog this now. Oh, we're killing that. Sure. Acolyte of Shoku back. That'll make this large enough to attack through here. So then we can transmog this and then Pyre Strike this. It's unfortunate that all of our things died. It's unfortunate that all of our things are dying, so this Consult the Talent is a little worse. This is Prophesize, it's going to draw 4 cards even. I guess if we draw a shard here, we can play that, which we did. Okay, yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and Consult here depending on what we draw. Stifling Sting, huh. Yeah, I think I want to Consult rather than Stifling Sting, because this way next turn I can be resource efficient and play 2 3-cost cards with my 6 resources. Do you need a snack? Here's some more crackers. Do you not like these crackers? No, you don't like those ones? Mom will be home real soon. Ooh, that's kind of a beating. These things are going to hit for a lot. Huh. So I can do this to make a dwarf that can block. Commander Prompt's kind of a beating here. I guess I can Sting plus Strike still. This is 3 damage to a champion or troop. I can make a thing to block. And then do I want to Strike or do I want to land in position? I think I just want to Sight here and start generating some more velocity. Do this. I'm going to preserve our life total a little bit here, I think. They want to spend a removal spell on one of these 2 to not let them kill this. I think that's fine with us. Not attacking with the Commander Prompt is smart. We'd have been able to trade with that. How many troops do we got in here? Plenty? Let's play that and scrounge it. That's a Lasgar's Vengeance. Okay. Play this, shoot that. This resource is prophesized. Probably should have played that one this turn. This is also prophesized. Okay, that's another card out of their hand. That's good for us. So we can play the Lasgard without attacking with anything next turn, which is okay, but it doesn't beat Prompt. That's a beating. When this comes into play, it returns a Dwarf, a Shin here, and a Venom from your discard pile to play. So, yep. Buzztech Innovator is definitely one of our better cards here. Do I still have 2 idiots in my crypt? I might, right? Nope, only 1. Huh. That's kind of unfortunate. Let's focus, see what we find. Well, I guess we're taking that instead of a spider. Do I want to just play this so I have blockers? Yeah, I think I do. It doesn't feel good, but I'm kind of crunched in the air otherwise. If you choose the egg, we get a random card, but I don't think that's worth it because the spider will be attacking as a 3 power unblockable because of Commander Prompt. the egg, when it goes into our hand or our discard pile, it gives my opponent a 1/1 that's unblockable. And then we draw another card. The old using my transmog against me here. Alright, how dead are we? Well, they're kind of soft to the Slasgars in the backswing. Oh, Jacob. Turned my volume way up on me. So I want to be able to Pyre Strike and Lasgar's Vengeance both next turn. So this is and this is free. So I'm only taking 12 here. Probably need to block this then. Yeah, let's just take 5. Sure. Remove Blam Sack. That's gonna die because of this. Alright, so if I do this, they have no cards in hand. So if I Pyre Strike here, and then I can Champ Power, and then my 2 Bumblebots can attack, which will make my Lasgar's Vengeance cost 6, and then hopefully they don't rip a Rotten Rancor again to slaughter us. So this kills everything on their board except for the commander prompt and does 4 damage to them. Oh, the Mistress of the Bone got voided. That's good for us at least. We're still dead to Rancor though, right? Because of the Motor Chariot. Alright, they drew a resource. That's good for us. We have a ton of cards in hand, but we're a little bit fluttered here again. At least this resource can cycle for us, I suppose. Glass half full. They could trade these two if they want, but I assume they don't. Start by cycling this, see what we get. Alright, start by cycling this, see what we get. It's a spider egg that's going to attack us for way too much. How many troops are in our crypt now? Plenty. So let's do that. And then let's play this Blamsmith out, scrounged. Let's Valor this guy. Activate this. Let's Valor this guy. Chris! With the 12-month resubscription on the Twitch Prime. You are so good. I always forget those. Thank you for the continued support. I do appreciate it, bud. Let's crunch with these guys. Gotta try and close this game out, right? Play my Warp Steel Shard Sworn. Alright, one more brick. Alright, now we got it. Now we have to, now they need to re-brick for us here. Okay, and now we need them to brick again. They've got so many bricks and re-bricks. Just, I need a brick down another redraw, please. Please don't kill me. Please don't kill me. Please don't kill me. Yeah, they're dead. Get out of here. Alright, faded some draws and didn't die. I think I'm happy with how we boarded. Man, I really wish I had some Ruby's favors on the board to kill these commander prompts. Sacrifice their stupid artifact. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna click go. Hope everyone is having a good Monday, had a good weekend. Hanging out, playing some Hex. I pushed my streaming schedule around a little bit starting this week for the summer, so this is going to be one of my normal Hex TCG stream slots. They are shiny new badges. This hand is really good with some resources, and we're on the draw and have an arcane focus, so I'm going to keep it. We could easily get hosed, but like having Lasgars in our opener is pretty huge. Consult's good if they have Withering Gaze. Like, all right, that's not a resource, but it's 2 more redraws. Just want to see a bunch of resources our next 2 draw steps here. These are exactly like having like resources. 8-drop resource, you know, tomato, really. We get 3 more looks before we miss our second resource drop. My greed, I don't think this was even a greedy keep. Like, we played 25 resources, yeah. Oh, God. Are you ready? I can't look, chat. Chat, I need you to tell me, are we... Oh, God bless, we got there. All right, so the first step in not bricking and dying has been accomplished. Next turn, we will try again to not brick and die. 23 resources and 2 redraws and arcane focuses in our deck. At least we can play the Blamsmiths out now, so even if we brick, we still get to add things to the board. 10 out of 10 transmogging a Vampire Princess here. 10 out of 10 transmogging a Ramp Rabbit here. Don't want them to get out ahead of us, especially if we're about to stumble. Ugh. Alright, is what it is. Playing the transmog there also means we don't have to discard here when we miss. Not trading here, obviously. Because if we draw a Sapphire, we could go this into this, but that's probably bad because then we have to discard. Oh, please miss a resource 2. Please miss a resource 2. Damn. Trying to decide what they wanted to do with the resources. Underworld Crusader. Yeah, there's our shard. So they have a Crusader here, which is kind of annoying, but like not the end of the world. So I think I'm just gonna go Warp Steel into Valor, one of my Dorkos. Are you locked out? Yeah. My wife is home and she's currently locked out of the house, so I'm going to go upstairs and open the door for her. I'll be right back. Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and pass here. The Swift Strike Depth Crawler is actually pretty good because it means we can block this. I can't attack with the Bumblebot as much as I would like to because it would get blocked by the Skyguard Underworld Crusader. So we'll take 4 on this hit because all our troops are pretty important here. This is a free block.
Can I ask you one?
Yeah, you've met Declan before, right? Eat some. Alright, so that's a ruby. So, do I want a consult here to start? I probably just want a Blamsmith to start, right? Let's go ahead and consult off of these 3. This. Look for another resource, probably. Transmog is great, too. So we've got a bunch of troops in play here, and we've got Lasgars in hand. So, yeah, we're in a pretty good spot here. Opponent's up to 5 resources here. They don't have any troops in their crypt. That's a Bride of the Damned. Am I currently playing in Magic? I've been playing a lot of Amulet Bloom in Modern. I've been playing a lot of Legacy. Legacy is definitely probably my favorite format in Magic right now. So I have these Lasgars in my hand. I'm just going to take 4 here because we're going to have to take We're going to have to lose some troops to attack and to trigger this Lasgar's next turn anyways. Alright, so... I need to attack with 3 things here. I'm actually going to go ahead and attack with 4 things. And the reason why I'm attacking with 4 things is... it allows me to transmog this before, in addition to playing the Lasgar's, because this thing draws my opponent 2 cards when it dies. So I want to turn that into something else. Maybe I'm supposed to transmog before block so they can't eat my Bumblebot here. So I'm going to lose 2 of my guys here, and then they're going to lose this, and then I'm going to play Lasgar's Vengeance, so they're going to lose their board. Get them out of here. And then with this follow-up Lasgar's Vengeance, this Buzztech Innovator, we're sitting pretty good here. That's pretty good for them. Withering Gaze lets them take the Lasgar's Vengeance out of my hand, which could, you know, potentially keep them in this game. Kind of sad I didn't take the Lanipois Sight now, but the Transmog was worthwhile. They missed another shard drop here, they're going to be in trouble, especially because this Heart of Embers already has another Valor here. If we get a resource here, we get to Buzztech and crack them for almost lethal. We get to Buzztech and crack them for almost lethal. I suppose they have 3 resources up here, but if they're hero falling this Buzztech Innovator, then they're not hero falling this Heart of Embers most likely, so let's go! And he gives me 2 1/1s at the very least. If this dies, these lose the power up, which it looks like he's dying, but that's fine. We still attack for 7 here and put my opponent down to 9. We've got like removal into some reach here and to make another Bumblebot. Opponent Rotten Rancors and then concedes. Alright. They know about the Heart of Embers in my hand, so they probably know that they're just not going to be able to beat through that successfully.